Hi. My hair would it keeps doing this. That's so okay. So I'm making this video to tell you guys about the time that my teacher tried to talk to me. Yes, this really did happen. Yes, this is a completely true story, okay? So I'm gonna tell y'all about a teacher I had when I was in middle school. I'm gonna call him Mr. Jones. His name is not Mr. Jones. It's nowhere near that. But I'm gonna call him Mr. Jones for the purpose of this video. So when I was in middle school, right, I told y'all the stories of how I used to get picked on relentlessly. Like, I hated middle school, y'all. I wanted to drop out. I hated it with a fucking passion. I would never redo it for nothing in this world. I hated, fucking hated middle school. You couldn't pay me to go back to middle school. Nothing. I wouldn't go back. I hated it. Oh my God. Okay. Now we've established that part. There was this teacher named Mr. Jones who everybody thought was cute. I didn't think Mr. Jones was cute though. I didn't. I didn't think he was cute at all because I just don't look at, when I was that age, I didn't look at men like that. I didn't look at men like they were like cute and stuff like that. I looked at him as a teacher because he was my teacher. So when I was in middle school or whatever, I used to get picked on a lot. And he used to join in on the pickery. Okay, when I used to get picked on, he used to like make jokes and and oh, you gonna go crying to your mama and stuff like that. I would ignore him, but I went home and I told my mom about it one day. My mom always came to my school cussing like it was something that was completely acceptable at my school because it happened so often. Because teachers my teachers back then was just some sorry motherfuckers. I'm so sorry if you taught me and you feel like you wasn't sorry. My bad. Y'all was some sorry motherfuckers when it came to people picking on other students. Sorry. Okay. So I always complained to my mom and cried to my mom about students bothering me and teachers not doing nothing, right? So I don't forget a face. Like, especially if you did something to me. Like, if I know you, I probably won't remember your name, but I will remember your face. But if you did something to me, no, you will not escape this memory. I don't forget shit. I don't forgive nothing. I hold on to shit like a motherfucker. I hold grudges like a motherfucker. Okay? I hold grudges like a motherfucker. I'm working on it. But I don't let shit go. I don't let nothing go. Nothing, bitch. Nothing. So, one day again, I was getting picked on. And this day, I remember it very clearly. My hair was straight. I did not have locks at this time. My hair was straight. I had it in a ponytail, and I believe I had like a clip in my hair or something like that. I had a t-shirt on with a jacket. My jacket was zipped up with some jeans. And I've always had big breasts. When I was in freaking eighth grade, I was like I don't know, a 40 double D around that when I was in 8th grade. Yeah. Yeah, you heard me right. Okay. I was like a 40 double D. So my breast was big, and I always had somebody either saying something about the breast or making a joke about it or whatever. So this day in particular, my teacher, Mr. Jones, came over. He was handing out papers or whatever. And I'm sitting at my desk. Now I'm finna pull my shirt down just so y'all could see what I'm talking about. Okay. So my shirt was like, I'm just trying to give y'all a visual of what was going on. So my shirt was like this because I had a t-shirt on and you could see, like, the buckies and stuff. Okay, so that's enough of that. So my shirt was like that. There you go. But just imagine, like, chest here. Okay. I ain't purposely do that. It's just sometimes I wanted to wear t-shirts and I didn't always want to be like covered up, but I always covered myself like 98% of the time. I was covered. It's just sometimes it be hot, so I wear like a tank top. So yeah, anyway, he was handing out papers, right? He come stand by me and give me my paper. I had got a B plus, a B or something like that. Something good. It wasn't an A, it was like a B. So I was reading my paper to see what I got wrong, and Mr. Jones was still standing there looking down. So I looked up and I said, did I do something? No, no. And then he just, kept walking, passing out the papers and stuff. Then it was another incident where I always used to get into fights, right? That was like normal shit for me in middle school. Always used to get in fights. So I was fighting. I was fighting this day. I was fighting this white bitch who kept fucking with me, her and her homegirl. I was fighting this bitch, and I was on her. I was on her, right? And I was in my other class. And the teacher, Miss Jones, heard us fighting, and he came in there and grabbed me like this. Like, he grabbed me like this. My breasts were sitting on his fucking arms, my nigga. Like, they were sitting on his arms, my nigga. So he said, I told you not to fight her. And he's holding me. I'm not resisting, okay? I'm not resisting him. And I told you not to fight her. I told you, didn't I? And he goes, I told you, Harriet, I told you. So then I said, she hit me first. She was bothering me first. So I came, he dragged me out of the classroom, and he was still holding me, right? Still holding me. I was not resisting. I was talking, but I wasn't like trying to get away and go back to fight her. I wasn't doing that. So he should have let me go, right? So I pushed away, and I was pissed because I'm like, why this bitch always messing with me? Blah, blah, blah. They had wrote like this fucking notebook, a book by the nigga. They wrote a book by me, how much they ain't like me and all this other shit, right? So then I'm telling y'all, this is a completely true story, okay? I'm not making up nothing. Nothing. So years go by after this, okay? Years go by. It's just little things he used to do back then, just years went by. I lost a little bit of weight, okay? I had my hair in twists. I was in high school, and I just looked a little different. I looked different a little bit. I went to this banquet with my mom. It was a banquet that my mom's job was invited to, and I went. Went to this banquet. Who do I see? None other than Mr. Jones at the banquet. And that motherfucker didn't know who I was, right? So he comes up to me. Oh, you look so beautiful. And da 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 da. And he's talking to me, telling me how gorgeous I look in my dress and oh yeah, da 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 and all this. And I just looked at him like, you motherfucker. Like, part of me, because I knew he was trying to talk to me. When he had finally popped the question of trying to talk to me, I'm skipping this part just to tell y'all this. When he finally popped the question to talk to me, a part of me wanted to talk to the motherfucker just to break his heart because of how he messed with me when I was in school, and he used to allow the motherfucking kids to pick on me and ain't say shit. Part of me wanted to date him and break his heart, but I was like, nah, I don't like the nigga like that. So anyway, so he is talking to me, telling me all this stuff, and and then he goes, would it be okay if I got to know you better and all this? And I looked at him like, and he said, what's the matter? I said, you don't know who I am, do you? And he was like, should I? Do I know you? And I was like, I said, you don't remember me at all. And he was like, no, I don't think I've met you before. And I just looked at him like, it was like I was probably in like maybe the 12th grade, because I was like in high school. Like I looked a lot different from how I did in middle school. So it's understandable, but people who knew me back then and see me now, some of them recognize me and some people don't. So I was taken aback when he was like, he didn't know who I was, and he, should I know you? Flirting. And I'm just like, you nasty bitch. Like, you just, So I looked at him like, you really don't know who I am. And he was like, do I know you? What's your name? And I said, Harriet. And he was like, Harriet? And I said, yes. And he was like, only Harriet I ever, I don't. And then he gets to thinking, he's like, only Harriet I ever knew was, oh my God. And I said, nigga. And and I said nigga, like, cause he ain't my teacher, so fuck that nigga. I said nigga. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you, look so different. And I was like, oh, no, I had no idea. And he was like, wow. He said, wow. That's all he kept saying. Wow. I said, yep. He's like, so who are you here with? I said, my mother. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I should probably introduce myself. I said, no, you shouldn't. He's like, why? I said, what you introducing yourself to my mom for? Well, I was your teacher. And I'm like, oh, really? And I said, well, it was nice seeing you. And I just walked off, right? So I went and I told my mama, Mom. She's like, what? I said, my teacher from middle school is here. And she was like, oh, really? Who? I said, Mr. Jones. And she was like, the one who I used to cuss out all the time. I said, yes, that Mr. Jones. She was like, where he at? And I showed her where he was at. And she was like, So this is not over yet. Oh no. Oh no, it's not over yet, right? At the end of the banquet, I saw Mr. Jones again, and he came over to me and said, I just want to apologize again, because I didn't recognize you. I'm so sorry if I offended you and da 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 da. Then he goes, but for the record, I always thought you were beautiful. When I used to see you in school, your beauty used to captivate me in some ways. And I'd be like, I looked at him like, nigga, I said, you do realize that I'm still in high school, right? He's like, well, yeah, aren't you 18? I said, no, nigga, I ain't 18 yet. And I said, and if I was 18, I would not be talking to you. Oh no, Mr. Jones, no. And he's like, well, I'm just saying, I mean, I wasn't, he was trying to like, what's the word I'm looking for? He was trying to throw, because he got thrown off by the fact that I was like ill to him. So he was, oh no, I'm not saying that. Like, I'm just saying, like I thought you were 18 already. And I was like, no, I'm not. But if I was, it wouldn't matter. Like, no. And so then he like put his hand on my shoulder like that and was like, well, I'm happy to see you doing so good and you're looking great and da 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 da. I said, Mr. Jones. He was like, yeah. I said, can I be honest with you? And he was like, yeah. I said, I think you an asshole. And he said, you think I'm an asshole? I said, I sure do. And he was like, why? I said, I ain't forget none of that shit you did to me in high school. I mean, in middle school, bitch. Nothing. I ain't forget none of that shit, bitch. Nothing. And he's like, but I didn't. I said, no, it's not what you did. It's how you did the shit. Like, you just allowed people to pick on me and shit. And then you have the audacity to bring your old musk ass over here trying to talk to a nigga. No, bitch. No, bitch. So I ain't say talk to a nigga. I said, you just bring your musk ass over here trying to talk to somebody. No. I wouldn't talk to you, even if I was of age, even if I didn't know who you were, I would not talk to you. And he was like, well, Harriet, it's nice seeing you, and I'm happy to see you. You're doing so good, and you're still beautiful, and da 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 da. So I'm like, so I left with my mom, and I told my mom, my teacher just tried to talk to me. What? I said, yes, my teacher just tried to talk to me, mother. And I play with my mom like that all the time. So back then, my teacher just tried to talk to me, mother. I can't believe it. I am in shock. I am shocked and appalled. And she laughed at me, but I should report him. And I was like, no, cause no, just no. So she would talk about reporting him, but what did he do? He didn't do anything. But he didn't know who I was. But even if I was 18, I don't know how that shit worked. But I don't know if did he do something wrong? He just tried to talk to me. But I peeped that shit. Like, I peeped that he was attracted to me when I was in middle school. I peeped that shit. So, like, I know when he used to look at me and be distracted. I know when he used to. Like, I ain't all that, but I'm not no ugly chick. So, I knew he was a little attracted to me. I just, I expect him to do all, like, you're my fucking teacher, bitch. Why are you looking down my shirt? You're my teacher, bitch. The fuck? Why? Why you trying to talk to me at a banquet? Yeah, you didn't know who I was at first, but how? How did you not know who I was? I don't. I'm thinking. I'm licking my lips. I shouldn't do that. But I'm sitting there thinking, like, I mean, it's understandable he didn't know who I was, but I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. Was he wrong? Oh well. Fuck that nigga, Mr. Jones, with your bitch ass.